Good morning. How's everybody doing? It's got to be Tuesday morning. Yeah, we're here with Comeback Yoga. My name is Eric. It's so nice to see you. Let's get this set up so that my head's not cut off and you can see me well. How's everybody doing? Yeah, let me drop this shade. The sun's just coming right in on us. But it's Tuesday, and I hope you can hear me and see me. It's not too bad. And the pound puppy's coming over because she wants some love, but I'll just let her go run around. All right, but welcome. My name is Eric. I'll be your guide today. I'm a veteran of the United States Marine Corps. It is an honor and a pleasure to be here representing Comeback Yoga, which is a nonprofit organization. They provide free yoga classes and training for veterans. I'm going to move this. I think that I just want to make sure. For veterans up and down the Front Range of Colorado and from the eastern plains of Colorado to the western slopes and everything in between. They really do a good job and they deal with a big issue. And if you have time to volunteer or donate, come to the classes both online and in person. We'd love to see you. We could use your resources and your energy and any intentions out there. So today we're going to be working on the upper body as we have been moving through, but we also want to emphasize the breath. So we'll be linking our breath and movement. And let's see what happens. Yoga means union, togetherness. If you can think of a yoke, it's the center of everything, and it connects like the yoke of an oxen. And so yoga, the practice of yoga, is this recognition of this union. And one way that we can recognize this union is through our breath. And it might be simpler than you think. So yoga or breath means prana, breath or life. And in the yoga world, breath is life, prana. If you can think about breath and life, if you don't have breath, it's not too long where you don't have life. And so it's an important part of how we experience ourselves as human beings on this planet, in this environment. So if we can consciously relate to the breath in a certain way, it may open up some doors for us. So in the breath today, you'll hear me say no pausing in the breath cycle. No pausing in the breath cycle. Let's see what happens. Okay, let's just take a few breaths and then we'll move into our stretches. All right. And that is on the inhale, as you're breathing in through the nostril, and then there's a smooth transition to outside of the nostril. On the exhale, you're breathing out of the nostril and then back into the nostril. No pausing in the breath cycle. We're going to add movement to this as well through the practice. But let's just take a couple of breaths and let's see what we notice. Gotta make sure. No pausing in the breath cycle. What do you notice? Do you maybe feel more present? Grounded here and now? What do you notice about your sense of time? Throughout the practice, watch your sense of time. You can look at the clock Like I need to look at the clock because I got to manage the time of the class. But what if you look at the clock, you can even look at whatever time it is. But if you are present here and now, no pausing in the breath cycle, what happens to your sense of time? Let's go through the practice and see what happens. All right, and maybe I'll give you an idea at the end. All right, but let's go ahead and sit up, drawing your shoulders back and down, broaden through the collarbone, lengthen through the back of your head. So notice how the head just comes over your center of gravity. And there's a lightness in the body when you are aligned in the spine, from the tailbone to the top of the head. And then let's go ahead and start with the neck. Go ahead and looking over to the left. You want to look over to the left, nice straight, and then in through the nostril, and then this time out through pursed lips like you're blowing out a candle. Breathing in through the nostril, still no pausing, and then out through pursed lips. No pausing, right into a smooth inhale. And then exhale through pursed lips, slowing down the heart rate. And then coming back into center. And now looking over the right shoulder, nice stretch in the neck, looking over the right shoulder, big breath in through the nostril. And exhale through pursed lips. Breath in through the nostril. And exhale through pursed lips. And then one more time on this side. Balancing it out. When you go through pursed lips, you're slowing down that heart rate, parasympathetic response. And then back to center. This time up, like you're looking up. Looking up, the head reaches up and you feel the stretch in the neck. Big breath in through the nostril and exhale through pursed lips. Even your eyeballs into the top of your head. Big breath in through the nostril. Exhale through pursed lips. And then dropping the chin. Dropping the chin. The chin is touching the chest and big breath in through the nostril. Exhale through pursed lips. Breath in through the nostril. And exhale through pursed lips. And then come on up. And then one more set of exercises with the neck, opening up the neck and the shoulders, looking over to the left. And then you want to look straight up like you're looking at a shooting star coming up and over to the other side. Now you're looking to the right. And then looking up again. Looking up and over to the other side. Now dropping the chin and coming up and over to the other side. And dropping the chin, coming up over to the other side. So we're finding mobility within the neck. All right. No pausing the breath cycle. Here we go. Arms up, in through the nostril and out through the nostril. So in through the nostril. And then on the exhale, reverse the goalposts. All right, so on the exhale, and then linking the movement in the inhale right into a smooth inhale. The goalpost right back to right side and then right back in. No pausing in the breath cycle, no pausing in the movement cycle. And we're going to work through all the joints, or most of them. Joint freeing season. Joint freeing. And then come back on the inhale. Now on the exhale, squeezing. Here we go. Here we go. On the squeeze, on the exhale, and then on the inhale, opening up. No pausing in the breath cycle. Squeezing. And then come back, opening up on the inhale. And then the hands behind your head. Hands behind your head. And we'll open up with some side bends. All right. How about a little bit of a warm up, left and right, left and right. And then come back up into center. And then I'll be your mirror. So let's go up and over to your right. You want to lift up through that It's through your left armpit. You want to lift up that left armpit up into the ceiling, opening up the intercostals in breathing, no pausing in the breath cycle. There you go. And then on the inhale, just smooth inhales and smooth exhales, lifting up through those intercostals, creating space for the lungs, and then come back into center. And then back up and over to the other way now. So here we are. You want to find the sweet spot. So you want to still be able to have a certain level of stimulus. I call it the sweet spot, where it feels just right. It's not too much, it's not too little. You're engaged yet relaxed. Engaged yet relaxed with a smooth inhale in through the nostril and out through the nostril. And then come back into center. And then we'll do some cat-cows. Spine out. Everything is spine out. All right. All right, here we go. So I'll give you a little side profile. So the inhale is the cow, and you want to look up, broaden through the collarbone. You want to push up and out and look up. That's the cow on the inhale. And then on the exhale, you're tucking the chin, pressing the forehead towards the feet, and then pressing through the spine. And then on the inhale, broadening through, and exhale, tucking. No pausing in the breath cycle, no pausing in the movement cycle. In through the nostril, out through the nostril. Smooth inhales, smooth exhales. And then finish up that cycle, and then come back. I'll come back to center. Mm-hmm. And then functionality. Let's open up a few more joints. The hands. Okay, you would not believe how important the hands and the feet. Very important to keep moving the fascial structures in there. So you're gonna all the fingers all pointing together, and then straight out, and then squeezing, pointing, and then out. Squeezing and pointing and out, and then back and forth, and back and forth. All right, the phalanges. Okay, and then up like this, stop sign, and then you just want to like windshield wipers for the wrists. Yeah. I know it seems pretty easy, but if you do these motions on a regular basis, okay, your joints will work smooth and easy. At least that's the theory. Put it into practice, shake it out. Now the next exercise you would think is a lower body exercise, but it helps the whole upper body relax, okay? And so that is a wide-legged squat. A perfect time to talk about pleasant sensations, okay? So in the practice, at least with me, we want to find pleasant sensations. So a wide-legged squat, so it's a wide-legged step. The feet are about 45-degree angle, and just let the tailbone work its way towards the mat. Now I've got a block here, so if you need a block to help support yourself, please do so. But you want to find a engaged yet relaxed stretch. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being you don't feel anything, 10 is sharp and painful, we're looking for that 4, 5, 6 level of engagement, where you're engaged yet relaxed. The fascial system just responds way better. And the brain doesn't is able to compute all of the information at a level that is pleasant. So pleasant sensations. Pleasant sensations would include any opportunities for the body to relax, any big organic breaths or sighs or yawns even. I am not offended if you yawn in class. And then another pleasant sensation is a pleasant sensation of your awareing, of being aware. And that is when the mind becomes very still. And you can recognize that you are just present here, now, content, at peace. Mhm. Mhm. So pleasant sensations, you're just looking and we're just letting gravity do its job, opening up the pelvic bowl, the hips are opening up, and there's this elongation of the spine. And that's bad enough for right now. And let's go ahead and sit down and then straighten out your legs and then just give a little tap. This tapotement, the fascia system loves it, this tapotement. Does that feel good or what? Tapotement. Okay, great. And then the next exercise, also a lower body exercise, but it's so good for the upper body that I put it in the routine, and that is child's pose. So again, opening up the hips, and then there's this inversion, okay, that allows this blood flow to start moving towards the brain. All right, so opening up the knees, the toes are pointing, and then the head comes down to the mat, and then reaching. And then from here, you can even roll left and right on the forehead, bringing blood flow into the prefrontal lobe. And just breathe, no pause in the breath cycle. And then you can use your hands and start to assist. And come on up. Come back into seat. Now we've opened up the pelvic girdle. We've opening up the hips. There's this elongation of the spine, taking off that pressure off the invertebrate through the spinal cord. And then from here, we want some twists. A very important twist for the spine. So let's go ahead and twist. You're going to take your left hand, put it on on your tailbone as support, and take your right hand, put it on the outside of the left knee, lifting up through the top of your head and then looking up and over your left shoulder and breathing. No pausing in the breath cycle. And breathing. Look for any pleasant sensations. You want to find that sweet spot, 4, 5, 6 level of engagement on the twist. And look for any pleasant sensations and then come back into center. And now the left hand to the outside of the right hip. And then the right hand is on the tailbone supporting, lifting up to the crown of the head on the inhale, and on the exhale, pardon me, on that exhale, twisting to the right. And then come back into center. All right. So sorry, pardon me. Coughing like a crusty old Marine. I guess I am a crusty old Marine. All right. So let's go ahead and stimulate the 12 cranial nerves and the 7 glands. So the nervous system can rest in parasympathetic nervous system. Continue, no pausing in the breath cycle, in through the nostril and out through the nostril. But go ahead and give yourself a hug. Right arm over left. Pardon me. Nose nice and straight. And then you want to look your eyeballs to the left. Big breath in through the nostril. This time, you lift your eyeballs to the right and exhale through pursed lips like you're blowing out a candle. So blowing out a candle, and then Eyeballs to the left, big breath in through the nostril, looking left. And then exhale, looking right, and exhaling through pursed lips, looking your eyeballs to the right. And then switch it up, left arm over right. Nose nice and straight. Your eyeballs to the top of your head. That's alpha brainwave stimulation. Big breath in through the nostril. And then exhale, your eyeballs down to the floor. Exhale through pursed lips. Breath in through the nostril, looking left. And let it go, looking right. All right, and then shake it out. And then snap and tap. I call this turning off the TV. You're just linking left and right hemisphere of the brain. So a little snapping left, a little to the right, a little tap tap. Really soft and easy, but this stimulation links up that left and right hemisphere of the brain and stimulates the hypothalamus, the pineal gland. All right, a little tap. And then thumbs on the temple and then just rubbing the forehead. This is bringing blood flow into the prefrontal lobe. Blood flow into the prefrontal lobe. Curious, open, allowing, and loving. Curious, open, allowing, and loving. This is prefrontal lobe stimulation. I did not make this up. This is coming from Dr. Dan Siegel of Harvard University, one of the top researchers in the field of trauma recovery. All right, curious, open, allowing, and loving. All right, and shake that out. And then you want to touch the left shoulder to the right knee, right shoulder to the left knee. Criss, cross, apple, sauce. All right, crisscross applesauce. You're touching opposite sides of the body and different planes of the body and linking central and peripheral nervous system. And then a little cup in the hand right on the inside of the elbow, the soft tissue. So your meridians. All right. And just stimulate so that information can go from the peripheral nervous system to the central nervous system. 90% of all the information that comes into the brain comes from the neck down. So if we can stimulate in a healthy way the cranial nerves, the glands of the body, and these meridians, the nervous system is aligning. It's working at a more aligned level. The bones of the face, another vagal nerve stimulation. Eyebrows, and the cheekbones. Collarbone. It doesn't really matter, just as long as you're moving through the bones. I think that there might be some program out there that says a certain pattern, but I have found that just stimulating them in a natural way that works for you works. It gets the nervous system to relax. And then tap the forehead right over the top of the head to about C7. All right. Here we go. We're in the last minute, last 60 seconds. No pausing in the breath cycle. Can you see right here, right now, that you are present here, now, content? Maybe at peace? No pausing in the breath cycle. When you breathe without pausing in the breath cycle, the body relaxes, the animal brain relaxes, and your sense of time relaxes, maybe. Or you can look at the clock, you can still manage what you got to do, but your sense of time disappears. You're in the present, here, now, content, at peace. Sapchichimantra. I am, I know I am peace. I want to thank you for sharing your yoga practice with me today. From one veteran to another and all those that care for us, love us, and support us, have an amazing day throughout the day. Please look for pleasant sensations, opportunities for the body to relax, any opportunities for the body to have a big organic breath sigh, and any opportunities for the mind to just be still where you are here now content. Have an amazing day. Namaste.